Hey, everybody. Welcome. Good afternoon. Good morning. If you're on the West Coast, welcome to today's Feather webinar. I'm joined by Brock, my teammate. He's going to be
Hello.
walking us through some campaigns in Feather to kind of show the what it looks like behind the scenes to run some of these campaigns that we're going to be talking about today. So yeah, welcome everyone. Go ahead and drop in the chat what organization you're joining from and where you're tuning in from if you'd like to include that as well, just to kind of get a sense of who's in the room today. We've still got people joining at a fast rate, so we'll give everyone a couple minutes to trickle in. Awesome. Welcome, Allison. Welcome, Angela, Trisha.
Barbados, that's cool.
Welcome, Rihanna.
A lot of Midwesterners here, kind of the anti-Barbados, and it's okay for me to say that because I'm from Wisconsin.
Yeah, whole spectrum. Washington, D.C., nice. Recently drove through Washington, D.C., and it's one of the most beautiful places. Okay, still see people coming in, so we'll wait just one more minute.
I see in Atlanta there. I had the pleasure of staying overnight in Atlanta due to some weather on my flight back from a trip to the office in Gainesville. I will say I love the Atlanta airport and especially that like little green jungle corridor, like between Terminal A and T, I think.
Yeah, it's
So,
so cute. It's always I always forget it's there, and then I'm walking through it, and I'm like, wow, what a
what a
lovely.
nice little vibe.
Yeah. Got some West Coast peeps. Cool. I think we can probably go ahead and get started. So welcome to anyone who's just joined in the last minute. We're going to be talking today about association event marketing, how you should be thinking about your marketing funnel when it comes to marketing events from start to finish. And then I will be passing it over to Brock about halfway through so he can walk through specifically how you can do this in Feather. So the audience today is a good mix of people who are already using Feather and some people who are new. So for those of you already using Feather, the goal is for you to get any refreshers that might be helpful in terms of how you should be thinking about event marketing and then seeing that happen in Feather. So a lot of it might be familiar. You might be already doing some of this stuff. So we just want to kind of add to yeah, your kind of knowledge base of what you should be doing in Feather. And then for anyone new, um, hopefully today will be helpful as well, just to kind of give you a sense of how Feather could be helpful for you in your marketing goals. So Feather is a digital marketing platform that helps you grow membership and non-dues revenue. So it helps you stay top of mind with the people that already know about you, get in front of completely new people who are relevant, who might be good members, attendees for an upcoming event. It helps you reach people who visit your website, whether that's because they saw an ad on Facebook or because they saw a flyer even or heard about you from peer to peer. Maybe they visit your website, but then they don't actually convert, right? They don't become a member. They don't sign up to attend your event. It's very common. People often visit websites and then abandon without actually making a purchase or taking action. So Feather helps you stay in front of those people with nudges and reminders until they come back and convert. And then obviously lots of reporting features that help you really show the impact of your marketing, prove ROI, and make it easy to kind of make the case for tools like this and marketing budget to your board, your executive leadership, whatever that looks like. So we have a lot of associations that use Feather to market their events, to do membership drives, to get non-dues revenue through digital sponsorship. So there's a lot that you can do with Feather as an association. Today will be focused specifically on event marketing, but at the end, I will drop a chance to learn more about Feather and get a sort of more personalized walkthrough of what the platform can do for you, whether you're trying to market an event or do multiple different things. So I'm Isa Hasty. I'm the Senior Manager of Content and Marketing Communications here at Feather. And Brock, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Brock. I'm the Customer Success Program Manager at Feather.
Cool. Really happy to have you on. I feel like it's always great to have you to like walk through the platform and really put a practical spin on things and show what's actually happening inside the accounts. All right, so we're going to talk at sort of a high level today about the event marketing funnel, a framework for how you should be thinking about the beginning, middle, and sort of end of that funnel, right? So what types of campaigns fit into each of those phases, what types of messaging makes sense for those different phases. And then we'll talk about how Feathr Flights makes it really easy. So again, if you already are a Feathr user, you're probably familiar with Flights. You might be using it, you might not be, but you've heard of it. So we're here to kind of make it feel really accessible and easy for you to get started with Flights. And then we will actually be showing ASAE's event marketing playbook. So a couple of weeks ago, I hosted a webinar with Mike Ross from ASAE, and he walked us through how they use Feathr to promote ASAE Annual. So if any of you in here are attending ASAE Annual this weekend, or you've seen ads from them, they do a lot of that in Feathr. And so that was a really cool webinar to just kind of see how they're using this platform to run ads, run emails, automated emails, ads on social media to really stay in front of people and drive those event registrations. So there's a webinar replay of that on our events page, which I'll share in the chat in just a few minutes. So that's a deeper dive into ASAE's event planning campaign, but we will be talking at sort of a high level. Brock's going to walk through what that looked like, just so that you can see that today. And then just some basic tips and takeaways for you as you are looking at your next event. So we will be sending out the recording and the deck later today, so you can expect those in your inbox. And then as we go, feel free to drop any questions in the chat. We'll get to them as we can throughout the presentation. And if we don't get to anything until the end, we'll do some Q&A then. So definitely drop in any questions that you have. Okay, so before we get into it, I'm going to launch one quick poll, and then I want to get people to drop answers to this question. But really quickly, let me run this poll. So I want to, let me see, sorry, we've got a lot of polls here. Okay, so go ahead and drop a yes if you want to be signed up for our weekly newsletter. It's called the Good Marketing Brief. And so lots of great tips, industry news, trends, resources for associations. This arrives in your inbox Wednesday mornings. So I will just get you signed up if you drop a yes. So I see some people are already subscribed, which is great. And then for those of you who put yes, I will get you signed up for that, and you will start receiving it in a week from now. So alrighty, so now let's get the chat going a little bit more. Go ahead and drop in the chat what you're currently doing to promote events. So whether you have an upcoming conference or annual meeting in the next few months, or maybe you had one recently, right? I just want to kind of know what you're doing to promote your events from a digital marketing perspective. Or maybe you're doing some more traditional marketing. Just want to kind of get a sense of the mix of things that people are doing to get the word out about events. Okay. Bill, glad to hear that you're pivoting over to Feathr. Excited to see how that goes for you.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, got lots of Feathr users in here today, which is great. Cool. It seems like there's a pretty consistent mix of email, ads, social media, and Feathr, which includes all of those things. Cool. Awesome. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the way that you should think about your marketing funnel. And for some of you, this might feel like something that you're already doing really well. For some of you, this might just be a helpful way of kind of reframing how you're thinking about setting up an entire event marketing campaign, right? Because you have, different ad campaigns, you're showing up on social, you're sending out emails, but how does that all culminate into one sort of marketing funnel for your event that drives people through from awareness to conversion? So there's lots of different ways that you can drive awareness among new people and get in front of new prospective attendees, right? So you can do this through geofencing, which is serving ads to people based on their geographic location. So some ways that we see associations do this for events is targeting specific industry events, sometimes their own events, right? So you're basically drawing kind of a digital perimeter around a geographic area on a map and serving ads to people who are in that area. And so this can be workplaces campuses, right? If you have company headquarters where you know that there's employees who might be good prospects for attending your event, you can geofence those company headquarters and then serve ads to people because their mobile devices were in that area. You can do this on college campuses or high school campuses if you're trying to drive, sorry, my cats are going crazy. If you're trying to drive awareness among younger people, kind of reach the next generation of event attendees, members, right? You can get in front of people by serving ads to people who have been in college campuses and high school campuses, right? Community colleges, all of that. And so, yeah, you can kind of get creative with how you think about this. Basically, the question is, where are my prospective attendees and prospective members spending time in the real world? And then you can draw fences around those places in the real world and serve ads to people because they were there. So this is a very precise way to get in front of people who you know are good prospects for you. And then interest-based targeting. So you can do a lot with demographic information, search history, right? So who are the people that you're trying to reach? What are they interested in? What are they looking for from you, right? And so you want to just make sure that you are getting specific with who you're targeting in terms of like, are they actually going to be a good fit for this event or for my association? And you can do this based on a lot of different data points. Lookalike audiences are another way that you can do this. It's kind of similar. You're sort of finding net new people based on existing lists and trying to get new people who look like or resemble your existing audiences. And so with this, you want it to be, the seed list matters for this. And so you want to use, for example, confirmed past attendees, right? And kind of find new people who look like those past attendees in terms of who they are, demographics, profession, location, things like this. And then professional targeting, you can get in front of people based on their job title, industry, company size. So LinkedIn is really powerful for this, but you can also do this. Don't forget that professionals are also spending time on social media. So targeting people on Facebook, on Instagram, and as they're browsing the web, right? So that's what display advertising is. You're showing up all over the web where people are already spending time with ads, sort of nudging them and reminding them to complete something. And then just to show a couple of real examples of what this can look like. So these are all Feathr users who've run ads in Feathr. And so this is the National Trial Lawyers. They were able to sell $247,000 in conference tickets by running campaigns like this. So they geofenced competing events. They targeted people who searched for relevant terms for their event. They targeted people with relevant professional backgrounds in legal fields, right? And then obviously we'll get into the sort of cultivation and activation phase in a few minutes, which is where that ROI and those actual registrations and conversions come from. It's going to be those later campaigns, but you can't get those without drawing awareness among new people first, right? And bringing in new people, new potential attendees. So they do a great job of that kind of top of funnel, bringing in new people and then cultivating them to a conversion. And then the Wisconsin Assisted Living Association also targets people based on search terms that they've searched for and industry events that they've attended. And so these are just a few of the ads that they have served based on, relevant search history and where people have spent time, what events they've attended in the past. So if they've attended a similar event, they will target that event and show ads saying, hey, come to ours as well. And then a reminder to always add geofilters to any campaigns. So if you are in Feathr running campaigns like this, don't forget geofencing is not the same as geofilters, right? So geofencing is a type of campaign where you're serving ads based on location. Location is the main sort of identifier. You always want to have geofilters on campaigns. So whether you're running a lookalike campaign, an affinity campaign, search targeting, right? Especially if this is an event that's happening in a specific place, you want to make sure that you are setting geofilters so that you're not targeting anyone and everyone and wasting your marketing budget on people who are never going to be able to attend your event or to engage with whatever you're promoting, right? And so filters are a really important way to really narrow down your audience, get the most out of your marketing budget, your ad budget. And so, yeah, just remember to do that. So for local events, this can vary depending on what works for you, but we recommend a certain, radius, kind of maximum radius that feels reasonable. Like, will these people actually be able to come to this event reasonably? And then for regional conferences, you can go broader. Obviously, people travel across the US from country to country, sometimes for conferences. And so that'll just depend on who your audience is and what makes sense for you. But just don't ever forget the geofilter aspect of all of these different awareness campaigns. Okay. And then just kind of zooming out, when we're talking about these awareness campaigns and this sort of top of funnel marketing, you want to make sure that you are not leading with too much information or you don't want to like inundate people with too many details, right? So you kind of want to think about it as like a movie trailer versus a newspaper listing. So a trailer makes you want to go, makes you want to participate, and a listing just kind of tells you something exists and gives you information. So with cold audience ads, it should be more like a trailer. It should be highly visual, highly impactful. It should make people feel something. It should, the things like date, time, price, you can include those if it makes sense, but those can come after somebody actually has indicated that they want to go, right? Maybe they clicked on an awareness ad, visited your event page, then you should target them with details about the event. But this is kind of like here's the vibe of our event. Use photography, use visuals that are going to kind of draw the eye, get people engaged, keep text to a minimum on these, keep the CTA central and easy to find, and then make sure you're always running A/B tests when it comes to images, headline copy, tone, and kind of let the data decide what's working and what's not, right? So see what people are actually clicking on and then do more of that. So we hear a lot, and I'm sure Brock, you hear this too, but a lot of times you are running an ad that you think is going to resonate or make sense, and then it's not really getting the clicks that you want. You try other messaging, and then the data just shows like, okay, this works and this doesn't. And sometimes it's not something you would necessarily think of right away or expect to work, but you have to kind of let your audience opt into things and like self-select into what's interesting for them. So definitely um, let the data determine how you are speaking to your audience. All right. And then what does this look like in practice? So just a few examples of how you can make sure that you are using relevant, engaging, compelling messaging and using the right campaign type. So at this top of funnel phase, right? For professional associations, you might want to target on LinkedIn, on social media, run some lookalike campaigns based on past attendee lists. We'll get in a minute into CRM retargeting, which is basically serving ads to people whose emails you have. And so that's a very warm audience, right? Maybe they're past attendees, maybe they're email subscribers, and you can actually get directly in front of them because you have their email. So that's a little bit more middle of funnel. But again, just thinking about who is my warmest audience, who is my most likely prospect for this, and how can I get in front of them, and how can I make the messaging really resonate, right? So messaging for this would be more around career development, who people will meet, networking, and there's a lot of research about sort of what messaging resonates with younger people when it comes to associations. I think there's a kind of a big conversation around, is the association membership model dying or is it still relevant? And I think that there's a lot of value still for younger generations in being able to attend events in person, being able to network and get those opportunities in their fields. And so, yeah, definitely want to sort of tap into what is the sort of reason that somebody would want to come and segment your messaging based on that. So if you are running ads to people who've been on college or high school campuses, you want to make sure that that messaging is going to speak to a younger generation of potential members, potential attendees. Past attendees, right, should be receiving a different type of messaging. And so, yeah, make sure that that is always highly relevant. Okay, could you speak a little bit about how folks are using paid LinkedIn in tandem with Feathr? Yeah, so currently Feathr is integrated with Meta, so you can run Instagram and Facebook ads through Feathr. Brock, I don't know if you have seen examples of customers doing LinkedIn ads successfully in tandem, but if you want to speak to that a little bit, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. So Feather also offers tracked link campaigns, which is a way to make a UTM in a URL. If you don't know what that means, just email customersuccess@feather.co and we can review that with you. But essentially, within Feather, you have an option to create a link to your website that is tracked, so you can see who's coming from that link and what they're doing when they arrive at your website, whether or not they're converting. Thank you, Isa. Actually, Issa, you need to chat that to everybody. Here we go.
Oh,
Um, so there are plenty of opportunities to use Feather in conjunction with other advertising platforms, and Tracked Link is the best way to bridge that gap.
yeah, and LinkedIn ads are more costly, so I think, that you have to kind of use
Right.
them in ways that make sense for you. So, Definitely don't target anyone and everyone on LinkedIn. You want to make sure you're getting very segmented and very targeted with that. So, um, yeah, and like using first party data as much as you can, who's actually engaging with your website, who's actually attended events in the past. I think to the degree that you can do that, that's great. Especially yeah, on Meta, if you're running ads through Meta, on Feathr, kind of lets you leverage that first party data rather than just leaving it up to Facebook to kind of determine whoever they think is a lookalike audience or whoever they think might be relevant. So you can definitely, that's a powerful thing about the integration with Meta for now is that you can leverage that first party data. Okay, so we can
Before we
create
get any further here, Caleb asked if we can create a tracked link from Feathr and use that as the CTA link in LinkedIn. Yes, and not just LinkedIn, but you can use that for email platforms, for any social media, for Google Ads. You can do a lot with those links. And I would say if you are paying to run an ad, that should be tracked. If you're using Feathr, we make it very easy for you to do that.
Yeah, even paid, or sorry, print advertising, right? If you have direct mail pieces that are going out, flyers, anything like that, you can use QR codes and actually
Okay.
use custom tracked links on those QR codes so that you can see if somebody clicked on, if somebody got to your website, you want to make sure that you see where they're coming from. And so if someone opens a piece of mail, scans a QR code, gets to your website and registers or signs up for something, you know that it came from that direct piece of mail. We're not selling direct mail as like the main thing you should be
Mhm.
thinking about. It's not cost effective, but if you are running direct mail campaigns, absolutely be using tracked links so you can keep all of that data alongside your other campaign types in one platform and kind of see what's working. And that also gives you that data to say, like, is it actually worth our investment to be sending out direct mail to a bunch of people, or is that super costly and it's not driving that many conversions, right? And so it kind of helps you see where your money is going and where the returns are coming in. Um, yes, yes. So you can set up tracked links for any of the things we just talked about and have those campaigns show up in your flights and in your flight reports. So, yep, that can all be included in the final report. Cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the sort of middle of funnel phase. And so this is about kind of showing up, really focusing on your warmest audience and also staying top of mind for those people who showed interest, right? So all of these new people that we just brought into the funnel, some of them have visited your website but left without converting, but they've showed intent through visiting your website. So you want to stay top of mind for them, give them reminders as they're browsing the web. And you also want to think about who are my sort of warmest audiences? Who's in my database? Whose email do I have because they are a member or they were a member or they attended an event in the past? Email subscribers, right? People who have signed up for a newsletter or some kind of communications from you that is a warm audience. You should be getting in front of them in a targeted way, promoting events and promoting membership. And if you have, if you're an association that has a foundation arm or something like that, all of this applies to donors, supporters, volunteers as well. So basically anything where you have, you're trying to drive awareness, there's some kind of page that people can get to and click on something and you want them to do something and you want them to complete something, all of these campaigns apply to that process. So this is basically just the marketing funnel. We all have heard of the marketing funnel. So kind of thinking about that in the context of an event. But again, this applies to probably most of your goals and most of your initiatives. You should be thinking about them in this way. And then why do these warmer audiences convert better than anyone? This probably goes without saying, but they already know you, they already trust you. It's not a cold outreach on Facebook while someone's browsing. They've never heard of you. Maybe they're interested and they kind of click through and learn more, but they still have to develop some trust and some familiarity with you, as opposed to somebody who has literally attended an event or has been receiving email communications from you for months or for years, right? So those people know you, they trust you. What they need is not a reason to care, but a reason to prioritize. So this is where you need to lead with reasons they should come, benefits for members versus non-members, early bird stuff, drive some urgency around the specific benefits that they will get by prioritizing your event. And then warmer audiences simply convert at higher rates than cold audiences. And so your email list is going to be your highest performing advertising audience if you treat it strategically and if you run ads to your email audience in ways that are specific to that audience rather than just at the same ad to everybody that you want to attend your event. And then I will skip over this slide just because I don't want us to be short on time, but feel free to come back to this after and just kind of take a look at it once we send out the deck. But this just kind of goes through some ideas for messaging angles and some example copy for these different segments in your warm audience. So definitely take a look at this and kind of think through, okay, who are the people that are in my warmer audience, email subscribers, members, attendees, volunteers, things like that, and who are they to me, and what does my event mean to them, and how can I speak to that in all of the places where I'm trying to speak to them, right? The more segmented and the more targeted you get, the higher your conversions are going to be. And then just a couple of other examples of Feathr customers using CRM retargeting. So CRM retargeting is a way of showing ads to people because you have their email address. So in a lot of cases, which we'll talk about retargeting in just a few minutes, that's where somebody visits your website, you cookie them, they leave, and because you have a pixel, a tracking pixel installed, you kind of track that visit and you're able to serve ads to them because they visited your website. So we'll talk about that in just a second. With CRM retargeting, you can actually serve ads simply because you have their email in a list. So they don't have to have visited your site recently. So this could be, past event attendees that haven't visited your site or done anything with you in a year even, right? But you think maybe they would come to this year's event, so I want to serve them ads in addition to emailing them invites. And so this is a way to get in front of them. It's called email mapping in Feathr. So CRM retargeting is kind of the industry term. Email mapping is what we call it in Feathr. So that's probably the term that some of you are familiar with. So that's a great way to kind of really target your warmer audiences whose emails you have. And so American Association of Endodontists sold close to $700,000 in conference tickets 2 years ago through running CRM retargeting and retargeting ads to people who visited their website and to members, past attendees, email subscribers, all of these warmer audiences. And they drove a ton of conversions and sold a lot of tickets through these campaigns. And then the National Minority Supplier Development Council also ran retargeting and CRM retargeting campaigns and drove $229,000 in conference registrations on just a $3,600 ad budget. So, great example of how digital advertising can be a very high performant campaign type and really kind of get you in front of people who are warm and are going to convert and bring them to your website and drive that ROI with just a very low ad spend. So, and you're probably going to spend a little bit more on the awareness side, right? Because you're competing with more, you're trying to get in front of net new people. And then as you get more targeted, you can kind of reduce that ad budget and get really sort of segmented and see a higher return on your ad budget for those bottom of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel campaigns. All right. And then the sort of third or final phase of the marketing funnel is going to be audience activation, right? Driving conversions, driving registrations. And so this is sort of bringing back and converting those almost attendees, so people who have visited your website, shown interest, but haven't actually taken that final step. And so a big challenge for organizations, this is for nonprofits, for-profits, associations, this is across the board. When you have a website, people will come to your website, they will do things, and they will leave without converting, right? And this is a universal problem. More than 81% of people will hit your event page and not register the first time. They might not even register the third or the fourth time. And so staying top of mind, reminding them and nudging them over time is going to be the way that you get that trickle of people who are interested but haven't converted yet because they, opened it in a tab and then closed the tab out, or they went to their other room to get their wallet and they came back and they forgot, right? There's a lot of reasons why people would not convert on their first visit, second, third visit because they're busy, they're weighing pros and cons, they're thinking, okay, I have to go ask my boss for budget to attend this event, right? And then they get distracted. And so if they see your ads popping up reminding them, then they'll say, oh, okay, I need to make sure that I go do that and um, get the budget approved and go register for the event. So there's a lot of barriers. Don't underestimate how many barriers there are to registering for an event. So make sure that you're accounting for that and just showing up again and again. Okay, before we go to the next slide, I know there's a question here. You have client success stories written out as case study PDFs. Yes, we do. Yep. Okay, let me.
I'm on it.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Brock. Yeah, we have a whole page of case studies with lots and lots of stories, lots of association case studies. And so you'll see in there the types of campaigns people are running, some examples of ad creatives, results they saw. So that's great content to share with your leadership. Yeah, and then hesitant because you're a small association. Yeah, we hear that a lot. That's a really common sort of pain point, but running digital ads is kind of, you have to be doing that. You have to be using that channel. Otherwise, you'll stay behind. You can't just be relying on email or direct mail. Showing up with ads is the way to go. Okay, cool. Alrighty. And then yeah, as you can see here, a lot of the time organizations are just sending a couple of emails and then going silent, right? You might announce your early bird pricing, you might announce some speakers, but if you're not also running ads in tandem with that on social media, on websites that people are browsing on LinkedIn, if you choose to do that, right? Then, if you're only relying on email, it's really easy to miss an email, to open it, but then not go do the thing, right? And so you want to make sure that you are using a multi-channel approach to stay top of mind in as many places as possible where people are already spending their time. All right, so retargeting, I think most of you on here know what this is. This is when go look at a pair of shoes and then you leave without buying them and you're followed by the ad showing the shoes and then you may or may not go back and buy the shoes, right? So it's a really basic concept. For-profit companies use it really well. A lot of associations are using it very effectively. And so the way that this can look for you is simply, people are coming to your site, visiting your event registration page. They might not register the first time, and then you continue showing them ads with the benefits of attending, why members should attend, special pricing, driving urgency through deadlines, early bird pricing is ending soon, last chance reminders, things like that. So there's going to be lots of ways that you can kind of drive urgency through messaging and then also creating that personalized experience for each individual person because you're retargeting, right? So one person might see an ad on Facebook about early bird pricing months before your event. Click through, hit your event page, not register, and then they start seeing ads saying, hey, come back, complete your registration. And maybe they sign up months before the event. And then you might have somebody who's receiving some emails. They're not really noticing the ads or whatever for a while. And then a few weeks before the event, they notice an ad. They say, oh, wait, last chance, I need to buy my ticket now. And then they're kind of one of the stragglers who quickly registers toward the end, but they do register. And it's going to be because you're continuing to show those ads. And then keep personalizing that journey for them based on when they came into your funnel and making sure that they complete the funnel and convert at the end, right? So automating all of this makes it easy to kind of see at a high level what are the different sort of phases of our overall communications about early bird pricing, speakers, last chance, things like that. But then within that, because you're automating each individual website visitor's journey, you're really showing up with the most relevant ads for that person based on where they're at in the funnel. So automating all of this is key to making sure that you're not dropping balls or not showing up, in timely ways for people. And then retargeting works really well because people already showed interest, right? They visited your website, they've explored, that there's some interest compared to somebody who's never heard of you before, never visited your website. People need multiple touch points, so you need to keep showing up until somebody's ready to act. And then this follows them everywhere. So with digital ads, you can show up on Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, connected TV, the web, right? So wherever people are browsing, you can show up. And then this works for any type event where there is a landing page to register and people can buy tickets. And so lots of different examples of where this can work really well. And then just a couple more examples. This is the YMCA of Metro Fort Worth, and they got 13,000 runners for an annual turkey trot event. So this is obviously a fundraiser and not really a typical conference, but just to show that this works for lots of different types of organizations and different types of events. And then Japan America Society of Washington, D.C., they have an annual Cherry Blossom Festival and they run retargeting ads, CRM retargeting. They kind of stay in front of people who visited the event page but haven't registered, encouraging them to come back and buy a ticket. And so these are some of the ads that they run, and that's been a very effective campaign for them. Okay, I'm going to pass it off to Brock to talk about how you can actually do all of this in Feather. Yeah,
There
switch
we
screen.
go. All right, now I'm no longer muted. Thank you, Isa. All
Yeah.
right, so we're going to talk about flights today. Flights is my favorite way to set up these campaigns all at once so that you can not necessarily set it and forget it. That would definitely be the wrong term, but so you can stay organized. So essentially, To start at the beginning here, a flight is just a collection of campaigns within a project. You can technically run each campaign separately without them being in a flight, and the end result will be the same. So, why use flights at all, you find yourself asking? It is, I think, the best organization and planning tool that Feather offers. Um, so these are like super customizable. You can build this out however you want. And you can do so right at the start of your campaigns and make them like set up for the entirety of your marketing. Flights are generally time bound, so you are pursuing a single common goal with the flight, with these collection of campaigns. So that could be event attendance, why we're all here today. You can have membership signups. You can have a separate flight for membership renewals, since those are, similar but not necessarily the same goal. You can do fundraising, education, loan applications. There are so many different ways to run these flights, or so many reasons to run them. So anything that you have as a goal can be turned into a flight. Why use the flights then? So realistically, the best reason to use the flights is because you're going to want to measure your overall success of all of these campaigns put together. Your campaigns might have different goals. So an awareness campaign might have a goal of going to a landing page. You might have that running in conjunction with an engagement campaign where your goal is to have them click through into an application, and your conversions campaign might be to finish a registration. All three of those campaigns are going to have different goals at the campaign level, but putting them into a flight will allow you to view whatever your ultimate goal is. So registrations for events would be the primary goal, most likely. You can segment out broader themes within a project. So you can have a registration flight and an exhibitor registration flight, all within the same annual meeting project. So your campaigns will live within that same billing of the annual meeting, but you can see your registration versus your exhibitor campaign separately and see their budget separately, see their results separately. Um, you can create easy reports with these flights. You just click a button, and all of the campaigns that you have for registration, boom, they are all consolidated into one single report that you can take to your board or your boss and say, look what I did. And it's just that simple. The next one is very undervalued. You can plan all of your campaigns and emails in advance. Not only can you, but it kind of forces you to think about how you're going to do that. I'm going to show you an example in the next slide of ASAE's actual flight. And I want you to remember they did all of this in one single day. So not all of these campaigns were running the same day, but they had these all planned out on day one, which is really phenomenal. And I wish everybody would do that. Um, the last one is if you are as lazy as I am, and that's pretty lazy, and you don't want to set up a new flight next year, you can save what you did last year, hit one button, and everything will reappear for 2027. So it is, I think, the easiest way to take something successful and recreate it. And I would caution you to, make sure that you are up to date on any new Feather features while you do so. But it is definitely an easy way to just take what you made last year and then improve upon it. So without further ado, why we are all here. This is ASAE's flight for their conference, and I bet you were expecting something a little more flashy, but it really is this simple. They have four legs, four categories of campaigns, and then within each leg, they have campaigns that pursue that goal. And I'm going to go into each of those goals right now. So they had a potential attendees sort of awareness leg. They had a nurture interest, a confirm intent, and a drive registrations leg. You don't need all of these. This is what works for ASAE. You could have two legs or three legs or five legs. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of different ways to organize your campaigns, and this is really for the legs here. This is just a campaign organization tool. But for the potential attendees, ASAE is using a lookalike campaign. They have a large database of professionals and associations, so they can use a lookalike campaign to find other professionals in associations that they might not be able to reach with retargeting or Pixel Plus campaigns. But if you do not have the same database that ASAE has, you could also use affinity campaigns where you can select groups of people based off of their job titles, their interests, their purchase behaviors, their job seniority or industry. You can target people with a search keyword campaign based off of what they are putting into search engines around the internet. So if you're looking for people who are attending a competitor's event, you can use a search keyword campaign, show ads to people who are searching for that competitor or their event. As Issa said earlier, geofence campaigns are very popular with the associations crowd, especially when targeting a competitor's event or when trying to target your own event, and you might not have the information of everybody who's in town for that event. Either people who might not be registered or people who are trying to kind of piggyback off of the good work that you've put in to build this event yourself. And the last potential attendee or the last awareness event that, or campaign rather, that I want to call out is Pixel Plus. This one is the Feathr's, it's like Feathr's flagship. It's my favorite event, or sorry, my favorite campaign type. Um, it allows you to target first-party data based off of either cookies or emails or both, but it also allows you to expand on that. You can say, hey, here's my list of people who've been to my website, and here are a list of the email addresses of the people who are attending my event. I want you to go out and find a lookalike audience that looks like this collective group, and Pixel Plus can do that. It's very powerful, and it is now, I think, a great option for an awareness campaign as well. So this was the first leg. The second leg that ASAE had five campaigns in it: two early birds, a drive-in, and two general messaging. The early bird and early bird last chance are just time bound. They are early bird ran until this date, and then early bird last chance ran after that date until the end of early bird. Drive-in is a regional campaign targeting people near Indianapolis who might be interested in driving in and would not necessarily need the same motivation that somebody flying in from the West Coast would have. And then general messaging one and two are very simple, broad campaigns. General messaging two targets the ad viewers of general messaging one, and it kind of just evolves the messaging of that first ad. So when we're looking at the themes here, these campaigns are based off of time, geographic location, and whether or not somebody had viewed a previous ad in the series that you're wanting to showcase. This is actually like really simple when you break it down. They are finding audiences that they can send specific messages to. Those specific messages are early bird messages. They are drive to Indianapolis for this event. And that is the most powerful way to use Feathr is if you have a specific audience and can share a specific message with them. The next leg is the most complex, but it really just breaks down into a few themes as well. So they had some retargeting campaigns based off of different interests or past behaviors. They had some Pixel Plus campaigns targeting members, and then they had some additional retargeting campaigns with other topical ads, which are like other events that are happening in conjunction with the main ASAE annual meeting. So when we're looking at the themes for this one, we're looking at audience interests, audience identity, their engagement with your previous events, and the product offering that you want to showcase in a specific campaign. The reason you might do that, have a specific campaign for a specific product offering is perhaps you only want to put a few $100s into topic A while you want to spend $2,000 on topic B. You would be able to have your budgets set for each topic or each sub event right at the start of all your campaigns, and you can plan for that very simply. Mike says, if we've heard that if we want to target the same audience with a different creative over time, we should simply update the creative instead of making a new campaign. For example, if we have a pre-early bird and post-early bird campaign, would doing this still allow for good data to be provided from flights? I'm sorry, Mark, I called you Mike just now. The reason that you might want to have this message evolve with a different campaign is because you would be able to schedule all of that at the very uh, start of your flight, and you can do it all on day one. The other reason why you might want to do that is say you want to budget like $500 for the first month and $1,000 for the second month. You would not need to tell Feathr to ramp up your spending halfway through. You can just have another campaign with accelerated spending for month two. But if you want to have a single campaign and just swap out the creatives and the budgeting doesn't matter, then feel free, whatever works best for you, we will support. For early bird and last chance, is that the same campaign, just swapping out the creative when it's time to switch? Essentially, yes. Yeah, I looked at the targeting. It is the same targets. It was just a new ad, and there's no need to set a calendar reminder to swap the ad out. So it's very like, I don't want to say set it and forget it because, again, that's wrong. You don't forget about these. You're constantly monitoring and making sure things are working. But it does allow you to have the confidence that you're not going to forget to enable a campaign or enable an ad after early bird has ended. All right, the fourth leg here is drive registrations. Two very simple campaigns here, registration dropout and last chance. These campaigns are all based off of your engagement with the registration site. So there are essentially three buckets that you can fall into when you are at the last stage of these campaigns. You have either registered, in which case you're not seeing any ads because you will be an excluded audience from the campaigns that ASAE set up. You can go to the registration and not register, in which case you would have the registration dropout ad shown to you. Or you can do none of the above. Perhaps you have not engaged with the registration site, in which case you would be shown a last chance ad to try to light the fire under you to get you there and curious about it in the first place. All right. This is not ASAE's report. I want to call that out very clearly here. Oh, thank you, Isa. Yes, that is a phenomenal webinar. Everybody check your chat, click that link, pull that up and watch this after this. But this is a flight report. So after all the hard work that you do, you get to see the culmination of that in a single report. This is from an organization that I work very directly with, and I'm proud of the flight that we ran here. You'll notice if you're used to Feathr reports, this looks very familiar. And that's because this is the same report that you see on a single campaign or in a project, but it takes all of the individuals and all of the activity from your campaigns that are in the flight and mushes them together into one report. So it deduplicates for you and it tracks its own conversions. It is, I believe, the best way to run a report in Feathr is with a flight. Okay, before I get into how to do it, I have some tips and tricks here that I definitely want to call out. I pulled the CSM team at Feathr, and they gave this advice. So organization is crucial with your flights, and you can tailor that to your needs. So there's different ways to use those legs that we talked about. You can do those with funnel stages like ASAE does. You can have separate legs for ads and emails. If you want all of your emails to be in one leg, that's a very simple way to organize your email approach. You can have monthly legs if you have very long running flights. So you can have a leg for August and then switch into September, so on and so forth. And you can also have topical flight legs. So if you're doing some advocacy for your association and you have a couple different things that you want to call out, you can have advocacy topic A or B and have those within the same flight, just with different legs. Next tip, standardize your naming conventions. This ties back to organization, but the more specific you can make your naming conventions, the easier it will be when you're looking at your flight report to understand what each of these campaigns is and how they interact with each other. When you create the flight, you are going to want to name it and set a goal rather than just let the flight exist while the campaigns are running. I'm going to show you how to do that. And here is I think going back to, was it Jade that mentioned? No, somebody asked about campaign sizes. I'm sorry, it was Jody. If your campaign audiences are not large enough, say you're not ASAE and you do not have a gigantic CRM, you may need to consolidate some of your campaigns or some of your legs to reach a minimum 2,000 person audience. If you're having trouble doing that in Feathr, please just reach out to us, email customersuccess@feathr.co. There it is again, and we will be happy to help. And the last one here, did your flight perform well? If so, awesome, celebrate. And then you can save it using the Make a Flight Path button so you can reuse it next time. I'm going to show you what that looks like. All right, so to make a flight, you can do either two ways. The first one is use a pre-made flight path. My customer success team, we banged all of our heads together and figured out a way to create some reusable and I think effective flight templates from which you should absolutely be customizing your campaigns. But these are a great place to start if you don't know where to begin. The second approach is to make it yourself completely from scratch, or you can do some combination of the two. So I'm going to show you what that looks like, being cognizant of time here. So I have Feathr open right now. This is the Feathr playground. This is where I go to break things and to illustrate things. So I'm in the webinar examples campaign, or sorry, webinar examples project. I'm going to go into flights and I see that I have no flights left. So I'm going to click take flight. It immediately presents me with a lot of different examples of flights. You might recognize these campaigns from 2 slides ago. If I were to click create a flight with this path, I would automatically create a flight with 3 legs and these 7 campaigns. These campaigns would be created and applied to my project. And all I would have to do is go in there and edit them to give them start and end dates, ads, audiences, so on and so forth. But to show you here how to make a new one, I'm actually just going to click in the top right here, new flight path. Very simple. It prompts you to add a leg. You can add as many legs as you want. Well, there might be a limit. I've never reached the limit. Um, but for the first leg, you can add some campaigns if you want. Here we're going to add a Pixel Plus, and we'll do deepen engagement with this one. Now, say you've already created all of your campaigns and you're like, oh man, this would be a great opportunity to put these all in a flight. Well, you can go ahead and do so by hitting these more actions dots, click add existing campaigns, select yours from the list. I made this one a couple months ago for a webinar, I believe, and that is it. Now, when you are running these ads and you want to see them all together and see how they are performing, you can look at the report here and see the culmination of your efforts. The one thing that you're going to miss until you actually set this up is conversions. So before any of these ads run, it is very important to come up here to edit. We want to name the flight. We want to give it a goal. So my goal is going to be a conversion pixel trigger for annual events for this campaign. And it doesn't like that conversion pixel. So I'm going to do memberships. This is all where we go to break things. So a lot of the things that I'm showing you are already broken. But if I save this change, now the flight will be calculating conversions based off of the membership's conversion pixel. And when you go here into the report and you scroll, well, you can see here we have conversion value from the campaigns that are in the flight and conversion analytics. These were not there before. So as these campaigns run and people convert from one or both campaigns, they will be added into this report. And this would be what I would present to my boss or board of directors to show my good work. All right. There's a couple slides left, but I see there's a few questions here. Jody, are there any instructions for consolidating legs? I would say do what makes the most sense for you. And if you were struggling to hit the 2,000 person limit, see if you can find audiences that are similar, but maybe not exactly the same as you thought. you would use for the first campaigns. The most difficult campaign type that you can do that for is going to be the registration dropout campaign. And I would say in that example, if you're struggling to get a 2,000 person audience for registration dropout, try to pull in some of those inner pages from your events. So maybe the featured speakers pages or the people who are clicking on like an external link to a hotel, perhaps. You can use those audiences to supplement your registration dropout audiences and kind of accelerate your path to hit that 2,000 person limit. And Alexis says,
Real quick, Brock, I'm going to
yes,
launch another poll real quick because I know people are going to start hopping off in the next 5 minutes.
okay.
So, real quick here, if you are new to Feathr, you're not currently using Feathr, and you would like us to walk you through how you can do all of this on a more personalized level, we can connect you with somebody on our team who can actually walk you through this. So I know there's tons of users on here, so go ahead and put that if you're already a user. And Brock mentioned the customer success email a few times, so definitely reach out there if you have any specific questions or if you want to meet with your CSM or your pro strat to talk through anything that you're working on. So yeah, definitely reach out to us in whatever way works for you. But for this poll, we will reach out for yeah, new people who are interested in potentially starting to use Feathr. So wanted to drop that before we hit the top of the hour.
Thanks, Isa. And I'm just going to answer Alexis's question here very quickly. I would recommend having different conversion pixels for different purposes. However, if you're talking about the Feather Super Pixel, you just need the one. So the Super Pixel collects all of your data from cookies, and the conversion pixels are what go out and scrape data from forms. So each form should have its own conversion pixel, and those all operate under one holistic Feather Super Pixel. And Isa, I'm going to pass this back to you here for the last two slides.
Yep. All right. Thank you. So yeah, just to kind of zoom out, the bottom line of everything we've talked about today is that better event attendance is not just going to come from bigger reach, right? It's not going to come from the same old things you've been doing. It's going to come from using all of the channels that are available to you, running digital ads, running them in the places where people are scrolling and spending time, making sure you're targeting people who are relevant for your event, thinking about who your warmest audiences are and sending them, special, really thoughtful messaging that's going to appeal to them. So just kind of thinking through who you're trying to reach, who they are, what your event might mean to them, and really speaking to that in your messaging and showing up consistently and following up until people convert. And then the last slide, we kind of wanted to just end on a note of here are some things that you can walk away with and do. Obviously, we talked about a lot today. I know a lot of you on here are already doing a lot of this stuff. So good for you if you are. Hopefully, this was helpful for you to kind of just give you some other ways of thinking about things and framing your campaigns. But if you have not installed a tracking pixel yet on these key pages on your website, so this might mean you're not using Feathr, you need to be tracking website activity so that you can see what people are doing on your website and follow up with them in ways that are relevant and are going to get them to actually convert and buy event tickets. So that's something that you should get started with right away if you haven't already. Think about in lists in your CRM that you could pull and sort of target. So past attendees to an event, that's a very warm list of people. Think about reasons why they might want to attend again and use that in your messaging when you are reaching them. Create some ad variations. So kind of think about different ways to speak to different audience segments, right? And then remember to test things wherever you can. Think about how to segment out some email copy, maybe write some different subject lines for different groups of people. So just always thinking about what is the message that's actually going to resonate with this group of individuals versus what is the thing that I'm trying to announce to the world, right? And then choose some urgency milestones. So if you do have an event coming up in a few weeks or a few months, think through what are the sort of milestones that I can use to drive urgency at different points in the process. So early bird pricing ending, right? If you have a special offer for members or for past attendees, right? Leverage that in the way that you're actually talking about the registration process and drive urgency that way. Okay. And then Jody, yes, I will be sending out the slides. I'm going to do my best to get them to you in the next hour or two. So be sure to check your email inbox for that. And then I dropped that webinar replay in here too. So if you didn't already, go open that in another tab and check that out when you can, because that just goes into a lot more detail on the ASAE annual event marketing plan. So yeah,
Always
yeah.
a pleasure.
Share the- And here's my cat to say goodbye. My
Yeah.
my other cat, I think the other one was here before. Cool. Well, thank you everyone, and we will hopefully see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.